Welcome everyone. World Talent Economy Forum. This week we're going to focus on Africa, African development, as well as we have more focus on developing nations because we are working with Mr. Shankar and his team, and we want to develop our projects, our training, our consulting, as well as our research in South Asia. So we have our two famous speakers, Mr. Kevin. I know that everybody know about Ogba Foundations. Ogba doing excellent work. When I first find him, like he's in developing stage now, he is actually is one of the great example in Africa how he developed his foundation. This is really fantastic, and I want to give thanks those who support Ogba Foundations. I know that they are supporting with lot of technology and other things. He is excellent model for developing world. But first, I want to start from Mr. Shankar. Mr. Shankar, he is from one of the largest business forum in Africa, in India, and especially he has a great contribution in economic development in India. So we will discuss about streaming game technology. Everybody know India has great contribution in technology worlds. So Mr. Shankar, what you want to share with our audience and what type of experience you want to share for World Talent Economy Forum?
In fact, the World Talent Economic Forum is gaining fast momentum in India. But having said that, what today's topic is about online gaming and the gaming industry in India. Everybody knows that India is the tech hub of the world. And there are places like Hyderabad, Bangalore, the Gurgaon, and places like that. One is the fact that there is something about the online gaming that has gained so much momentum that I understand the global market size for online games is probably expected to grow something like in the range of 30 or 40 billion dollars. And by 2025, looking at the current scenario where everything is going and the place to go to is online and the place to go to for gaming is online. So domestically, the online gaming industry in India was probably worth $500 million sometime 5 years back. And now it is probably, it is in the range of $100 billion. That's the target for 2025. Can you just imagine where it is going? With all the online gamers, millions and millions of people adopting it, to the extent that there are executives, there are people who are professionals, found a new life and a new meaning. Some of them actually gave up their jobs. Some of them gave up their initial businesses to embrace what is the future. And Asia is the hub, and India is right there claiming its place in the world. And there are many aspects to this online gaming and where it is going. So I would like to listen a bit from our other colleague, and then I can add the game of skill, the game of chance, and all that bit. We given the hubs which are teaching, training, and deploying these programs in India. So I will pass the floor to Omega.
Ogba. Okay.
Ogba.
Mr. Ogba, so how you want to share your experience from Africa? This week we will focus on Africa and we will work with African nations as well for economic development. So Mr. Ogba, can you share your experience? Can you unmute? Ogba, can you unmute please? Can you unmute please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My clinic is based in the rural part of the Niger Delta of Nigeria. And what we do is that we understand the great things that Elon Musk has been doing. We've been following the great strides of achievement he has been making as a result of artificial intelligence. So first, I decided to create an awareness about AI and the need for African governments, people, and entrepreneurs to invest on artificial intelligence. Then we realized that learning these tech skills are time consuming and it requires the student to be focused, and it is not in our regular curriculum. So we decided to create a specialized center where people can come and learn almost for free, while we bring in foreign tutors who can teach them via online and also physical tutors who will train them. The result has been tremendous. We also try to work with women because we discovered that most women are selling similar articles and making little to no profit. So we decided to train women on the use of internet technology in doing their business, and it has also been a great success. Next, very key to my mind is what we call digital nomads. We understand that the Indian economy is booming today because it sent techpreneurs or Indian technicians all around Europe and America who are earning dollars and pounds and euros and sending back to the Indian economy. Why young people here in Africa mostly will prefer to do scamming of Americans or British or European people. So what we did was to tell them, look, there's more to gain in doing business with the Americans, with the Europeans, than thinking of scamming them or playing love game. And the result has also been tremendous because they see me as a success here, a success model. I've got to meet a lot of wonderful friends because they see that I am not just genuine, but the things I do are real. I use my real faces, I talk to them, I do Zoom calls with them, and it has been tremendous. I've been getting a lot of support. Some volunteer to give us laptops, some volunteer to give us used phones, some also give us their time. So it's a model we're trying to copy from the Indian people. And I'm very open to collaborate with you to get the best for my people here in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Abba. Thank you, Abba. Mr. Shankar, especially we are discussing about streaming game technology.
Yeah.
So India is a very big hub for technology development, especially software development. They have a lot of contributions. So from your Chamber of Commerce, how you actually accommodate this kind of innovation or how it's work? Especially, I'm a big fan of your contribution in economy. So how does it work?
See, the way it works is we are already in around 525 metros and globally scattered. And what we ideally do is we have teams around the world. And when somebody wants to create any model of any of these new technologies, we just don't localize it. We at once create intelligent people with their backgrounds and we create what is called the framework. And this framework actually allows people to see how their specific experience, their specific talent, skills can be combined. Then it is a basic collaboration that we come together in many parts of India. That's the norm, and help us stack up against the biggest in the world. You see, at one level, we see that there are the biggest people, the biggest companies in the world who are kind of saying that this is the way to do. Here, we have a ground up attitude, some of the groups. So, what they do is they team up with equally capable teams and grow from there. And with the power of artificial intelligence, just like Ogba said, that we, arrange the technology, what do you call the technology inputs to build around the logic of the streaming gaming technology. So, bottom line, there are ways and means by which the software industry itself is coming and more or less very focused on the gaming technology, the streaming gaming technology. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is the marketing of it. That's a whole different game. The branding and the marketing of the gaming technology is a totally different methodology. So there are multitudes of backend support systems that are collaborating and feeding the backend systems with these technologies that are actually, so if somebody has got a new idea, for example, in your country, we can actually create the corridor for these ideas to be turned into the necessary technologies, algorithms. And there are just gaming companies here in Gujarat, here in Bangalore, Hyderabad, wherever it is, that support this entire intelligence to format it to the next level. Of course, we use cases, we introduce that, collaborate with it, and there are multitudes of companies that are in the pipeline. In fact, we actually invited a group here today, and they are one of the biggest. And they wanted to, somehow they were not able to get through to just now. I'm still sending the messages, but they are keen to understand how the World Talent Economy Forum works and how they can bring in their intelligence to bring on board our networks, our collaborative efforts, the members, and whatnot. So one aspect of gaming is also education. One is gaming, as in the traditional gaming and betting and whatnot, but gaming is becoming fast changing, even at the corporate level, the education level, the academics, where you can make it much more exciting and gamify almost anything to create that necessary streaming technology.
Thank you. Mr. Ogba, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Ogba, I just want to know, there is a noise from your side. I'm sorry about that. I just want to know, like example, how your uh, foundation or your lab work, how you developing different kind of resources. Especially when we focusing on Africa, we find that there is a many youth actually they are developing in Africa, and I believe that if they get enough training for technology and this kind of thing, they can contribute more in economy. What do you think?
If the environment is okay, they will contribute more. I see people that are talented, but they don't know the reason why they were able to build an aeroplane that was able to fly a little. They don't know how they build certain things, but they love to do what they are doing. But the system is not just helpful. You can see now that I have resorted to use of generator. The use of generator, there's a lot of noise in the background. So most people cannot really afford to do these things themselves. So it's really hampers learning.
Okay, okay. Mr. Ogba, can you sit properly because our audience cannot see you properly?
Okay.
Okay, okay. Mr. Shankar, I just want to know, like example, how like India has a billions of people. How actually you train or Indian government and academy actually train their youth communities, or what is the education system right now? It helps them to grow for the global economy, especially in the technology world.
Yeah. Just to name a few, of course, there is Infosys Limited, there is Zensar Technologies, FG Factory, TCS, and there are many companies which are in the tech domain. But the general methodology that we are looking at now is to have, there is a university industry partnership where the some of the it's not like a theoretical thing, but we are taking in a lot of interns in my office per se. We are collaborating with colleges, technology schools, and having them give certain chunks of work, certain amount of work that the students can do, and we manage it so that they become part of our complete project in ways by which the university is giving the children and we certify them. So it's a combination of private enterprises like us, the professors, and the students get a kind of fellowship where we are creating this grid where slowly, some of them are applied technologies, some of them are backing technologies, and we support each other in ways and means by which they can become part of the bigger picture. In the gaming industry, basically it is software industry, and how each one's interest can be built around the gaming logic, a little different from the educational logic of the gaming industry.
Understand. Mr. Ogba, do you have any engineer for gaming industry or your engineer develop game right now?
No, I don't have. That's why I said I seek for collaboration where they can train our students on gaming. We have a lab called in Miami called there is a partner lab called the XR Lab, Miami. They're training on visual reality and maybe later augmented reality and mixed reality. We just started the class, but we've been having some slight issues since because our laptop was bad and the tutors they traveled, but we hope to resume classes soonest.
Like in education system, what type of challenges you have in Africa?
In Africa,
Yes.
yes, there is the problem of irregular strike actions by the teachers. So it makes them not to be able to complete syllabus. There's also a major problem that the syllabus was last changed some 30, 40 years ago. So it's not in terms with modern reality. And we also see that there is a gap in the skilling of teachers. Teachers are not properly groomed, especially in the sciences. So you can see that they hardly could help the student really learn properly. So what the OEC does is that we get special tutors to brush them after their secondary education so as to prepare them properly for university education.
So what do you think? Like example for developing this kind of engineer, what Africa different kind of lab, especially lab like you, how you can take initiative? Yes, I know you need collaboration. Beside that, how you want to develop your engineers?
Yes, for us to be able to develop our engineers, we have to be able to create a conducive environment for them to learn. Like as I said, Africa it's a very difficult place to learn in the sense that you have problem with power, which is electricity. You have also problem with high internet cost. And then we have the challenge of peer pressure trying to tell you that for all the school for all the schools that you have gone to, what have you achieved? So they tell you that, well, if I scam a few white people or Americans, I'll make some hell of money to be able to earn more than you that is a medical doctor. But then I tell them they are not richer than the average Chinese youth or the average American youth or the average Indian youth.
Like you live in Nigeria, right? So how many percent of the total population actually youth? Like under 30 years, how many people actually youth in Nigeria?
We have a lot of population under 30. Over 60% of the population is young.
Okay, 50% population, over 50, right?
50%.
Okay, so
Same in
so
India. Same in
okay,
India. It is
excellent.
below 25, 50%.
Okay, okay, Mr. Shankar, I have more question. You can understand he has internet problems, so that's why he has some
Yeah.
challenges. So no worries. You can take the leads. Anyway, uh, especially when you discuss about that India has around 50% youth, so it's a
Yeah.
very big billions of peoples. I think it's more than 1 billion 35 million or something. Anyway, so my question is that like how actually the quality of education actually India government monitors, because when we discuss about industry 4.0, this kind of technological things, it's need more inclusive and exclusive training, I always believe. So how
Yeah.
you work, and beside that, if your organization, if your forum actually taking any initiative inside India, you can share with our audience.
Yeah, I mean, the way we work is we collaborate with the universities in a way that they get a lot of discount in what we give them. And as part of it, they become what is called the young leaders globally. And in that process, we do a lot of strategic connections, introductions with the industrial leaders. So they're able to interact They're able to participate not just with Indian industrial groups, they participate with global industrial groups and in many categories. So the youth currently requires a whole new dimension of educational space. So what we are doing is trying to learn from various universities, and we have demo days where the students of one university in North America is presenting their skills, and industrial groups are watching to see who needs what. And the same thing we are incorporating in India as well. One of the things that, because we are talking about the gaming industry, I think India has clocked the largest number of downloads for these games via the mobile applications. And as I told you, 50% of India's population is below age 25, and 60% of the nation's gamers are under 25 years of age. So the gaming user base surpassed 365 million in March 2020. That's according to KPMG, Media and Entertainment Report. So there is only one way it is going. It is going just north, the whole gaming industry. And the point to make here is it is really the collaboration between the industry and the universities. And the way you articulate it, using competitions, using presentations, and many, many other ways by which they get the necessary funding, because uh, students will not have the necessary funding to do it, but they have the intelligence to bring it on board. So truly, it is a collaboration between the private sector and private sector meeting the universities. Yes. So that builds the confidence that allows the students to be creative. And based on many use cases around the world, we are building it all up as an easy to do methodology. So the earlier ways of trying to do it alone is fast diminishing. That's where the key lies, the intelligence to collaborate and come together and build it together. So it is really not a top down approach now, it is the ground up leadership.
Thank you. Beside that, I want to know what is the market of gaming industry in India, especially as there are many young people.
The I told you that they are the biggest downloads is happening via the mobiles, which is reaching proportions like India is probably the number one in spot and mobile game downloads worldwide. I think it's clocking something like 7.3 billion installs and raking in a 17% market share of the installs volume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Ogba, can you share some of the information, especially our audience has question?
Some of the
Alea,
information was,
Mr. Ogba, there is a question from audience. Do I need to need permission to streaming a game?
do you need permission to do what?
Streaming a game.
In Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
that's a particular movie that was banned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of some gay content. If not, most music, most games will be allowed anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shopkot. There is some other question from audience. If you want
Yeah.
to respond, do you think streaming game is a technically illegal? And another question is that nowadays some games are a treat to young people. They misunderstand that. How can you define that?
Come again, 1 second. Yeah, please go ahead. The first question is, do you think streaming games is technically illegal? It's my personal view that it shouldn't be illegal, uh, but it is again a mass consensus. We have some attributes to gaming as some kind of gambling or something. Not all gaming is gambling. There are games and there are games. So it is up to us to utilize, like people ask about AI, for example. There is ethical AI, right? There is earth friendly AI, and there is AI for good. So, similarly, it is our ability to see and make everything as much fun as possible. So, earlier, we would think going to school is a drudgery, and the same thing taught by a different teacher or through any other methods that keep the children engaged, that's a game. And personally, I would think there are many games that can increase our intelligence. And for that matter, it all depends on the kind and quality of games that we are looking at. And there should be ethics around it. And there should be a way to contribute and create impact. So that's my personal view.
Okay. Beside that, I believe there are some other question from audience. If you want to respond, I
Yeah.
think you can. Mahadi. Yes. Nowadays, some games are a threat to young people. They misunderstand that. How can you define that?
Nowadays, some games are a threat to young people. Yeah, that's true. See, if you
Okay.
really look at the kind of games, let us say there are games which are technically, it's a kind of thing that add your criminal side or something which is totally negative. Now, that's something that we should see it as definitely it is wrong. So ethically incorrect that which when children are today being able to learn things off the mobiles and they're able to click this and that and very easily, and if they are the young minds are totally fed with the wrong impressions and they get programmed, that can be pretty disastrous, and we'll never know that why a child's thinking is becoming so negative or violent. So, in that sense, yes, one needs to stand in front of this industry and be able to bring something through gaming. You can teach and empower and entertain. But if the gaming becomes violent, I think I'm against that whole idea.
Okay. Mr. Ogba, what's your opinion? Especially, do you believe this gaming actually helpful for youth? Or if it's helpful, how does it work?
Depends on the game. Like one of our major concern here is about gambling. People gamble with game a lot, and it has led a lot of youth into doing some very nasty things, which I personally is against. But they are producing game as a kid who make a hell of money, and I know that the Indian economy and the Chinese economy, even the Japanese are making hell of money when they make Nintendo games and all the PS2, PS4, PS5 like that. So it's an area we want to go to, but a child being excessively consumed by gaming is not right. You can see most recently the Chinese have to limit the number of hours the children can play games.
So, as you work with youth community, do you believe that in education system, if they introduce gaming, AR, and VR, this kind of thing, it will be helpful for youth?
Yes, in my own school, we found out that by using virtual reality, the students get to travel to the Amazon rainforest, which they cannot pay flights to, and it looks as if they're actually there. They're able to see and tour the ISS, the International Space Station. So these are the trends of the future, and it's something they have to embrace. Because I've always told my people that artificial intelligence has the ability to give the same quality education that is available in Harvard to the poor people of rural Niger Delta.
Thank you. Actually, World Talent Economy Forum, we have our own initiative. One is WTE Forum. And so here, actually, many scholars from around the world they join, like from industry, from academy, and everywhere. On the other hand, we have School of Talent Economy. So in the School of Talent Economy, there are a lot of content for educations. So Mr. Ogba as well as Mr. Shankar, if you want to utilize this kind of, it's 100% free. Uh, if you want to utilize this content for your students, especially for the youth community, uh, you can utilize. There are huge content for started producing more than 300 classes. And what we discuss, we take class in social media. So at least we just try to give some theoretical aspects, and then we move with the open dialogue. Actually, open dialogue actually help us a lot to understand each other. So Mr. Shankar, beside that, one of the concept now is very popular, especially innovation lab, innovation lab for education, innovation lab for industry. So what do you think about it? How it will be helpful, or how does it works, or what happening inside India or South Asia?
Yeah, the innovation lab, as in the startup
Mr.
economy.
Shankar?
Yeah,
Yes.
the innovation lab, as in startup economy, is very much part of the university tie-up with the governments and the private sector. So it's through the innovation lab that the much of the money which is to be spent on new innovations is being utilized, and there are certain interested groups which want to present things for the government or for the SDGs for that matter. And some of the innovations are very much aligned to that. And today it's not a question of how smart you are, how fantastic your product of anything, any innovation is. It is basically about whether your product has an impact on a global challenge that students have the intelligence to bring it. So the innovation labs in India, particularly, are pretty much on the lines where the projects are aligned to the SDGs or something greater for the social impact. Um, there is a lot of grants. There is plenty of projects that can be funded, but the gap that I see is the necessary way to create it in ways that it can get to the place where it can be funded. And sometimes the students are not clear about this, and their intelligence or their understanding is going in various directions, which is basically fine. But I see this as a very formidable force between the professors and the students who are part of the innovations. That is one. Besides that, the university industry partnerships of taking professional documents and reports and articulating it for creating some prototypes is also what the innovation lab does. So it's a good idea that the innovation lab is networked. Some of the innovation labs are not, which is why we are bringing our chamber is worldwide, and we are bringing a lot of intelligence that is required so that it is much easier from what we call as data sets. So data sets are like technology chops where you can access whatever you want. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the greater the collaboration between the big data, the robotics, and the AI is the new scenario that the governments and the private sectors are planning, because the stage one of the innovation labs were different. But today, definitely, no matter what, trying to predict the climate change or predict certain other things that are happening around the world, or reforestation technologies, whatever that you want to do for the greater good, is basically around these particular verticals that we are working with. So it's a new jump in the paradigm to get all these things accessible. But even before that happens, we need the collaboration of the students and the teachers and the industrial groups. I think he had a challenge. Olga had a challenge with. Hi.
Okay, Mr. Ogba. So specifically, we are discussing about innovation. So as you said always that Africa has many challenges, especially for education system. So how we can solve this education system? What is your guideline? And especially Ogba, we want to see you. There are a lot of noise from your side.
It's unfortunate there's no power, so there's generator. You just have to bear with us. So when we talk about the challenges we face in Africa, especially education, Elon Musk never went to study aeronautic engineering, but today is the best rocket builder. He made us to know that we can practically learn almost everything for free on the internet. Now, coming back home, the internet is quite costly and power is a huge problem. Young people who wishes to learn cannot actually leverage on the internet to learn. Elon Musk made us to understand that you could watch YouTube videos, you could learn anything you want to learn. But how many young people in my locality can actually afford to charge their laptops and phones and to watch these videos? Also, collaboration is the in thing. How many of them have the access that I have today? I was privileged to join a group of young teens all over the world in solving problem of education in Indonesia. And our team came out second. I won $1,000 for that. That gave me a lot of exposure to see how life works in the other side. These are opportunities that young people like us, young people in Africa ought to be having. But unfortunately, many are unable because they don't have the resources. So these barriers must be overcome for proper learning to take place.
Thank you. There is
So
another important thing that lack of resources. So, yeah, what do you want to say, Mr. Shankar?
I just want to really, it's very intriguing, Ogba's story in Africa, that how Elon Musk supported and the journey so far can be pretty enlightening for all the audience and for me too, because we could make a similar connection with a similar multinational or something, because it'll be kind of a case study for us as we discussed today. Ogba,
Okay, he's a big fan of Elon Musk. Mr. Akbar, what do you want to say about Elon Musk?
Yes,
Like you are a big fan of Elon
I
Musk.
must confess that my journey to stardom and success began by following Elon Musk and the wonderful works he's doing. I believed in Elon Musk before he became the world's richest man. Many years ago, I was on the internet when I was posting about Elon Musk, and on one of these occasions, I screamed, "I love Elon Musk! I want to see Elon Musk!" And someone who happened to know the brother to Elon Musk added me up. And that man supported the clinic with a lots of funds that took us
Yes,
to where we are. I'm afraid to
yes,
say that that young man is Bob Something. And I hope to someday come to the US and connect him to Elon Musk. Lots of wonderful folks, lots of posting I've done, lots of people who admire Elon Musk, people who have done videos with him, people who know him in person have been seeing what I've been doing, and they've been very, very supportive to the OEC. Some of them have given us laptop, some of them have given us money for fuel and many other wonderful things that we're doing today. But more so, I know we are going to see Elon Musk very soon. A few months ago, during his birthday, we celebrated his 50th birthday. It was wow. We celebrated the world's most important entrepreneur, the man who single-handedly changed the face of transportation, both on Earth and in space.
okay. I have one question for you. Why you like Elon Musk so much? Because of he's a rich man or he's one of the intelligent man in the world?
Very interesting question. I will tell you that those who do a background check on me know I have always talked about Elon Musk 5 years ago when he was nowhere. I told my people the kind of ideas behind this man makes him the richest man on earth. Elon Musk is the most important entrepreneur on earth. Elon Musk is this, Elon Musk is that. And my boy would tell me, Kelvin, shut up. Elon Musk is not rich enough. He's not richer than Mark Zuckerberg. He's not richer than Jeff Bezos. He's not richer than even Dangote. Why keep praising him? I say it is the ideas that rule the world. Elon was telling us things that would happen and they began to happen. He told us right there that the time was that Apple, which was the #1 company on earth, Apple do good phones, but they didn't do anything spectacular. Like his companies were pitted. I told them that they said I was talking trash. I was thrown out of various groups in Nigeria because I was promoting Elon Musk, and people think, well, this guy is mad. I said, no, I'm not mad. But remember, the world has only been changed by those who were tempted to be crazy. So I keep on talking about this wonderful work. He's beautiful with his transformational ideas. For instance, he's bringing in Starlink. Starlink internet will be so cheap, and we're able to stream videos, and people can learn for small amounts of money. Yeah, I pay a lot of money for data, but I can't get good quality internet. But Starlink is changing all that. What are you talking about, the Hyperloop? Today, next week, I will be joining space travelers all over the world as we do the Star Marble Week, the Blue Marble. We're going to be celebrating humanity going to the moon in 1972. That is life transforming. Elon told us that we could be multiplanetary bodies, ability to go clubbing in Mars and come back 5 a.m. in the morning and go to work. This is the future I want to share. I want to meet Elon Musk not because of his funds, but I want to bring his companies to Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, but my friend, he's from India, and India has like a very big CEO like Satya and Sundar Pichai. So yeah, this is very good actually. How do you think that this kind of big name actually creates some inspiration even in the remote area? But do you think that India has same kind of inspire and a positive youth community, those who actually can say, hey, I want to be Sundar Pichai, I want to be Satya, I want him, I want to develop my career like them? What do you think, Mr. Shankar?
Yeah, it's very empowering to see Ogba talks about his love for Elon Musk. And there is a reason that he pointed out, which I was trying to get at. Elon Musk is somebody not the ordinary. And I have read bits and pieces about him where he has failed many times. And I know for a fact that in Silicon Valley, failure is celebrated simply because somebody really tried. And we are wrapped up in a spell, so to speak, the normal human being, that they're not able to really reach out and touch the creative aspect because they're afraid of failing. And it's great to see somebody who tries and fails and tries and fails, and suddenly now he's the richest man in the world. So I was reading about him that at some point in the age of 26 or something, he was finished selling a few companies, or he had a few companies, and then he was going with his friend. So his friend asked him, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to send people to the moon at the age of 26, 27. And is there any kind of validation, any kind of anything that says you can do that? None at all. So I'm just thinking aloud, where do this kind of intelligence come in the foreground? And then it's not from the past at all. You are actually creating a new method, a new pathway. And then somehow, I don't know what happens, that some superior genius comes and ignites that entire pathway, and the whole thing changes the dynamics.
Okay, you bring one of the important point, like if someone fail, then in Silicon Valley they celebrate. What about South Asian culture? Yes, I'm from Asia, so I know. But what is your experience? Why we cannot celebrate the failures? What is the issues?
I think there is a basic challenge that in the overall way one is brought up in schools. And a good friend told me that education is different from schooling. And I used to dread going to some of the classes in school because I was not enjoying as a kid. And so what I want to bring to the surface is that there is more celebration. And there is the person, I'm forgetting his name, but he's written a book called The Good Earth or something. And he says that there is something called a pain body. I'm from India, but I'm just saying that, as a collective, when you say self, means not just me, self means everybody around. And there is a pain body that is circulating. That means the conversations are painful, the difficulties of things around are so painful. Whereas I have a feeling what makes first world is certain things are not at all an issue there. You can dream. At least you're encouraged to dream. But here, the overall orientation is totally different. The richest have a different dynamics. The in between always will struggle. So, places like India or Southeast Asia, it's not that people are not intelligent. Everybody has been given the same neurology, the same intelligence, the books are there, everything. But what separates is even before they wake up, there's a lot of indoctrination of right and wrong, good and bad, and this is not the way to be. And as I see, many of the business schools are teaching not entrepreneurship. See that I worship what Ogba is saying is basic ingredient of entrepreneurship, the ability to dream and do it. But entrepreneurs are easily discouraged from their imagination and dreams because people say, "Do you have the money to back it up?" Which is why I'm so excited today that the science of AI has come, and somewhere it is the greatest leveler because you can access information, data, power, knowledge, everything is standing on top. And I think the day has come for the wealthy to follow this intelligence. All along, I felt no matter what, you needed to follow the wealthy to do the things you want to do. And a place like US, they always say the land of liberty, is basically the freedom. And freedom is not given so much in schooling. The creative arts is the only place where it gets it, but still they didn't never had that kind of support. The left brain would have it. So, I mean, these are the basic scattered thoughts I have.
Thank you. Ogba, in Africa, how you celebrate failure? Can you unmute, please?
I learned so much from Elon Musk about failure. He said if things are not failing, they are not innovating. So to us at the OEC, failure is an option. We are glad to fail severally to succeed. When I started the journey, I was made to understand that would you meet Elon? Does he know you? I heard him say something like this. Does he even know you? This man you are promoting. And I laughed and looked at someone. I said, very soon I'm going to meet my hero. I know that soon and very soon I was going to meet my hero. When I was celebrating his birthday, many felt I was mad. You're celebrating a birthday of someone that doesn't know you. I said, even though Elon hasn't called me, I know someday I'm going to meet him. It's that faith, that commitment. You know, if you look at the story when he went to Russia, when he wanted to buy an ICMB, and now thinking about the possibility of life in Mars, many say he was stupid. So that's the spirit of being an entrepreneur, the ability to believe in yourself even when others don't. That is the striking difference.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shankar, I want to go for the streaming industry. So what do you think? What will be the future of streaming technology?
It's definitely going upwards. I mean, the streaming industry. And what I want to say from a very, very scientific, philosophical side is the youth are definitely adopting the streaming industry in a big way. And they like to learn through gaming. And it has brought in that element of visual, optical side of things. So India just needs the basic infrastructure, which is all in place. And there is no difference between what we're trying to do is bring this gap between the rural and the city and the digital divide that is taking place. The biggest digital divide today is technology for the business people and for the people who are not adept. Whatever your age is, unless you adopt technology, there is going to be a big gap. And there is a gap between the rural and the modern India. So the gaming industry probably will, the people like sometime back it was the entertainment And today, the gaming industry is bigger than entertainment, which simply concludes that this is the industry to go for. And why is it happening? Because it's more interactive and it is more playable, and that's where it's all moving. So I think it's a great industry to be part of, and one needs to find the niche in this industry and see how everything can be gamified. Actually, I know in many departments they teach things very quickly through gamification. The 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 CEOs or the private industries can learn a lot through gamification, and they can quickly turn their staff and their employees into adopting and understanding and using gamification as a distinction to create an enterprise quickly. It doesn't take months and years to learn anything through gamification. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear? Yes, Ogba, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's nice meeting you. So, yeah, how is Africa in the gamification industry?
I think personally, at the OEC we have little to no knowledge about it. But I'll be glad if we could collaborate, set up a Zoom meeting with my students so we'll talk about it and then we'll learn together. You can train us.
Perfect. We have some gaming experts, and at the World Talent Economic Forum, happy to go forward and put things in order so that your students can gain understanding, and I can bring the industry experts and the university experts for that.
That's great. We're open to that.
And which part of Africa are you in?
I'm in Nigeria.
All right. Okay. Okay. We will definitely be happy to see how to take these things forward. And you mentioned something about the laptops being distributed. Who did this, the government or the private sector?
Laptops that we got were donated by friends in America.
All right, okay. In this, and you're part of a school, is it?
Huh?
Do you run a school or do you facilitate
Yes, I
education?
run a clinic. It's called a clinic. Ogba
All right.
Educational Clinic.
Okay, just like the labs that we are talking, the startup labs, the innovation labs.
We also have a hub called the Artificial Intelligence Hub.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Let me know about.
I can share, if you have my email, I can share our website, our pitch deck with you and all that.
I don't have your email. One second. Let
Let
me
me
write my
give it to
email.
you.
Okay.
Can you private chat me? Let me give it to you.
Pardon me? Yeah.
Sorry, there are some technical issue. That's why I have to go outside. Anyway, thank you. This is actually really great discussion, especially Mr. Shankar and Mr. Ogba actually bring some different point. We are basically this week we are focusing on Africa. So I request everyone to join in our forum. Especially, I know Ogba, you have your students, so they can utilize our content. And beside that, Mr. Shankar, you can utilize our content and. What is the concluding remarks for today, Mr. Ogba? Mr. Ogba, what is your conclusion for today's session? Mr. Shankar, what's your conclusion for today?
Very insightful. Got to learn a few things about human psychology and Elon Musk and the power behind a great, remarkable person who is setting new standards for our society and the earth at large. At the same time, I relate to Ogba's understanding of how these clinics that he's setting up in Africa as a way to, as a way to bridge the divide, and how nations like United States are contributing through laptops. And he just suggested when you were, when we went offline, that he said that he wants some support in the gaming industry that he wants to bring into Africa. And we are happy to do that as part of the world talent economy, and see how our associates in industrial groups and the university groups can collaborate and deploy some of the certification programs into Africa. So we can all collaborate on that as a way, as the first step in the right direction.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you. This is really great discussion, especially World Talent Economy Forum. We have our lab, especially School of Talent Economy. We actually try to train people. OGBA Foundations, we train all of their students uh, through School of Talent Economy, even in India or other part of the world, especially South Asia. If they need World Talent Economy Forum support, definitely we're gonna support. And yeah, we are looking for collaboration. World Talent Economy Forum always do better collaborations with a very specific objective. So if you have any kind of plan or strategy, even our audience, we can help you to grow, to help you to solve any kind of problem. And beside that, we have our conference. So for the conference, we are starting this week. So this week is very important. That's why I bring Mr. Shankar and Ogba, because both of them from the developing world and two different part of the world. So this is actually beauty of World Talent Economy Forum. We always try to bring different culture, different opinion, different kind of people. So hopefully our collaborations can solve many problems around the world. And definitely it's a very important collaboration for World Talent Economy Forum, because we only focus on talent, because the technology and the corporations and the solution actually come from talent. So we always focus on talent, and I request all of our audience, please give more support to your talent. That's why Ogba actually getting many support. I know from transhumanist, from different donors and different agencies. So we always want to help the organization, those who can uh, grow properly. So Mr. Shankar, I know that you have an excellent organization who actually contribute in global economy. So hopefully, through your organizations, we can contribute more in developing world. It's really great discussion and very helpful discussion for us. So thank you, dear audience. I request all of you, please share our content with your government, with your corporations, and with your academy. So thank you, especially the audience, Alea, Noor Fazrin, Mahadi Hassan, Onika Shams. I request everyone to share our content, and thank you. Bye bye and take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.